Britain's wetlands and coasts are home to a great variety of water birds. In fact, they're internationally important for many species. But identifying these water birds in winter can pose a serious challenge for birdwatchers. But with the Field Studies Council Guide to Winter Coastal Birds and some practice, you'll be able to identify all of the common species fairly quickly. I'm going to show you how it's done. To start with, many water birds are fairly distinctive. This male pintail, for example, with his chocolate brown head and long tail, or this male teal with his green and red face, are fairly distinctive and can be identified simply by matching them to the images in the guide. But most water birds, especially in winter, are not so colourful, and that's why they can be harder to identify. The trick here is not to rely on colour to identify them, but to use instead their shape, size and general impression. For example, we can identify this female teal by her small size and tiny bill. All waders in winter plumage are fairly dull, but the same logic applies. These sanderlings, for example, are distinctively pale and silvery with short necks and straight bills, whereas this dunlin is distinctly browner with a slightly longer neck and a down-curved bill. Redshanks are slightly larger, with red legs and a slightly longer neck. And godwits are larger yet, looking almost ridiculously slender, long-necked and long-billed. With practice, these general impressions become more obvious, and identifying water birds becomes intuitive and instinctive. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to go to your nearest wetland or coast and see how many of the water birds on this guide you can find and identify. You'll be surprised by how many you're able to recognise once you get your eye in.